Today I'm going to tell you a story about a man who went outside, sat outside, and did nothing for days on end. Now, this man is named Henry David Thoreau, and he is one of my biggest heroes, I think. But anyway, the point is, Mr. Thoreau would go outside, sit there, and just do nothing. And somebody may say, well, that sounds really unproductive. Excuse me. It sounds really unproductive. But to me and to Mr. Thoreau, I think that this is the epitome of productivity. Alright. So, as Mr. Thoreau sat outside and became one with nature, he understood his purpose and what he was good for. He understood that he was to be the bridge between society and the natural world. Now, Mr. Thoreau has a quote attributed to him, and that quote is, "Aim above morality. Be not simply good. Be good for something." Now, I agree with this quote, and I find it to be very inspiring, but we must first examine this quote in 3 different ways. We must first examine the self against and in accordance with the world, and we must examine our morals, and we must find examples in our life that we must follow, people that we must look up to and that we must follow. Okay, so what is the self? In order to examine the self with the world, we must first discover what the self is. And I am a self. You are a self. The person outside this room is a self. The person you're sitting next to is the self. The self is simply, I'm going to say it, the self is all that constitutes an individual experience. And individual experience and the individual experience. So when we look at the world is all that is not the self, I would say. We are shaped by the world, but in turn we shape the world. So when Thoreau means be not simply good, be good for something, we as a society need to be good for shaping the world. We need to improve ourselves by improving the world in the same way that the world improves us. Okay, so let's examine our morals. Do you consider yourself to be a good person? I don't consider myself to be a truly good person. I'm just going to admit that. I think we are all we are a mix of good and evil. There's evil in us, there's good in us. There are some people who are wholly good. It's very rare, but people who are wholly evil, which is more frequent and quite weird to me, but that's a topic for another discussion. But anyways, how often do you think about helping other people, if you could? I'm going to come clean and say that I think more about myself than other people. So, in order to be good for something, we need to think about others. Before we think about the world, we need to think about others. Now, last thing. Who are the people in your life that you would consider examples that can help you help other people? To me, I would say Mr. Thoreau is a good example to me. Although I hate going outside, I hate bugs, I hate warm temperatures, I hate cold temperatures, Mr. Thoreau shows me that I need to take it upon myself to go outside and act as that bridge in order to improve my experience and everyone else's experience. Thank you.